All right, guys, welcome back. Um, so let me kind of catch you up as to what's going on. There's probably not going to be a lot of action in this week's video, but that can change because I record usually on Sunday and Monday. Those are my days off. So if I don't get any action shots today, I'll definitely get some in tomorrow. So I finished the spool coil. I added extra CA glue all the way around, so it's nice and sturdy. The the bearing housings are glued in; they're 3D printed. I also finished the coils. Well, I didn't finish. I finished bondoing the coils. Now I'm going to paint them, maybe sand them down a little bit more, and glue the edges onto them like that, and figure out how I'm going to start winding those. I also, because I was bored, printed out another rotor. Let me get it in view here. I printed out another rotor. This is a rotor that has these, I think they're like 3/4 inch by 1/4 inch N52 magnets. And I'm going to get these guys going. So this ought to be kind of cool. Maybe I'll get this guy going today while I'm post-processing the other two rotors. All right, so stay tuned. So really quick, I wanted to show you how this is going to look. And they actually fit in there pretty well. I was surprised. But I'm going to have to put some sort of nubbin on either side. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that yet. Because this, although this one's nice and tight, this one is loose, as you can see. So I'll have to, like I said in the last video, I should have made these like a C. I should have 3D printed these together instead of separate. But that's okay, because that's not going to be a tough thing. I can just put a drop of hot glue right there on either side and just do it all the way around, just a tiny little drop to stop it from moving. Anyway, stay tuned. Welcome back. So I'm really surprised how well these are going in. Seeing that I really didn't, I tried to do as accurate a measurement as I can, top to bottom, making sure that they're parallel. I used, a square. I used a couple of tools to make sure that that would happen, but they're fitting really nice. I might even get this guy to do a first run today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in this vertical maglev where it's supported. Here, let me take this camera out of here. Where it's supported by the maglev, which you guys have seen before. Yeah, it's fitting oddly well. Kind of nervous because when things go this good, it usually means there's a big screw up down the end of the road that I missed or something. And it turns out I didn't even need this template that I made. I just eyeballed it. I used one of these as a template instead of using this thing because I really didn't need it. I actually used the original black one that I made as a template. Anyway, let me finish putting these together, then figure out how I'm gonna stop these from sliding. Some of them are good, some of them are a little loose, but they're fitting pretty good. Stay tuned. Okay, so so I've got them all in there. As you can see, some of them are nice and straight. Other ones are cockeyed, and it looks like the spool itself might not be true, but some of them are cockeyed, and I'm not really sure why. See, like this one leans to the left, this one leans to the right. I don't know if there's something in there stopping it from sitting flush. So I'm going to have to take each one out, each one that's cockeyed, and fix it. But with all the magnets in there, it's got some weight to it. So it should have a nice flywheel effect. And again, south, north, north, south. I'm doing this configuration to try to create super poles. So I've got the 3 like poles facing inward like this, and I'll get some magnetic film. I have some right here. I don't know if you can see it from the top there, how it creates a nice arc. And I'm hoping it's going to create a super pole, but I've got to fix this wonkiness. So stay tuned. Oh, and really quick, I think I remember saying that in the last video, I ordered some N52s because I got these magnets from eBay, from the Amazon site. And I normally don't get my magnets from there. I normally get them from, I think it's K&J magnets or K and something magnets. So I went on that site and got some N52s, and I couldn't get the exact size. And I was going to replace each center one with one of these to give it more oomph. But it turns out, even though these are supposed to be somewhat the same, whoa, yeah, these are really strong. It turns out that even though they're supposed to be somewhat the same size, and I got 8 of them, they don't fit. And I don't want to reprint all of these with the center one being a little bit bigger, because it also doesn't, it's also not the same height. Not by much. I can make it work. But if one is a little bit higher here and one is a little bit lower here, it'll throw the balance off. I'm already seeing that's an issue with this now. And that's probably one of the reasons why this is a little bit wonky, because one end, well, you guys get the picture. So if I can't get these in here, I'll make a rotor out of, whoa. Yeah, I'll make a rotor out of those. I hope they didn't break. No, they didn't break. All right. So yeah, I said I was going to replace the center ones, but it turns out they don't really fit. I mean, I could take these out and I could file out the center portion, which I may still do. But again, the height up and down is smaller than these. So I would have to center each one just right. And to keep it that way would be a little bit tricky. I could make little spacers underneath there so that they sit right in the center. But that's, I don't know, now that I'm thinking it out loud, I might be able to do that. Anyway, stay tuned. Okay, so it turns out I really like thinking out loud with you guys, because then it gives me ideas. So it turns out I can put one of these N52s in here. You can see that it's a little bit shorter, but I can split the difference, and that'll make this a way more powerful magnet or super pole. Yeah, it's definitely shorter by quite a lot. I thought I had sourced them a little bit better, but they'll stay in there because they're really tight. So now if I put this guy back in here, the red dot denotes that it's a N52 and that it's also north. And I'll put a black dot on the center of the south poles. And what I may do, which I really don't want to do, excuse me, is When I get these in position, I may squirt a little bit of CA glue in there and then clamp this like this. I don't want to do that because then it makes it permanent and it'd be really hard to get out. And if I wanted to make any changes, but it's the only way I can see, because some of these are wonky, and no matter how there's nothing in the track that's causing that. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. I tried switching the magnets around. I tried switching the magnet guides around, changing them, and still in this position, in this particular slot, it's a little bit wonky. And I don't know why. What I could also do is just, instead of clamping the whole thing down, clamp this down and then clamp this down individually. But I don't want to do that either, because again, like I said, if I do that, it's going to make it permanent. And the whole purpose of this slot system was so that they're not permanent. But now that I think about it, I have a lot of magnets or a lot of rotors that are permanent. They're built specifically for this device. So again, if I think out loud like that, I'm probably not going to use this type of rotor or this type of configuration in a different way unless I wanted to. No, even then I couldn't do it. Again, I'm thinking out loud here. Anyway, let me replace all these center ones with a N52 and go from there. I have to figure out how the hell I'm gonna get these so that they're not, because some of them are perfectly straight up and down. Some of them are perfect. Like this one here is perfect. This one here is perfect. This one here is perfect. Wonky, wonky, wonky. So it seems like, maybe I need to see, this one is wonky for some reason. And okay, so it appears that this is higher up here. So maybe that's the reason. So I go like this. And I go like this. I press it down. Oops, you guys can't see. Let me, so I press it down here like this, then I turn it over, press it down there like that, and I go like this. And that makes them even. So when I slide this in here, they're a little tricky to slide in. It's really wonky. See, look at that. Oops. It's really wonky. It's completely, and there's nothing in the track. Trying to fix the camera here. Oops, sorry. There's nothing in the track causing that. Oh, I know what it is. I just figured it out. If you guys can see that, I don't know if you can notice it, but I can notice it. This top track is slightly over to the right more than this bottom. They're not in direct line. That's the problem. Ah, damn, I thought I had those lined up. The ones, and this one is slightly over to the left. This one is kind of up and down or straight. But see, this one is straight, and yet this is still kind of wonky. I think it has to, okay. So I think I figured it out. Some of them, I think only one or two, the two tracks are not parallel. And they're really glued in place. So I don't know how I can fix that. I think I'm just going to go for it. And I think I'm going to clamp this down, glue it, and go from there. All right, stay tuned. Yep, that's definitely the problem. If you look at this, you can see that this top rail and this bottom rail are not parallel. Oh, shit. That means I have to figure out which one is off. and I think it's this top one, because I have a line. You see that little line right there? That's parallel with this line. It's parallel with this line on this outer rail. This inner one needs to come over. Now, I don't know if it's just the outer one that needs to move, or if it's also the inner rail back here that needs to move. I really do not want to knock these out. So I think the only way to fix it, kind of, would be to clamp this up like this and then clamp this one down like that. It's still going to be wonky. Oh, shit. I didn't check that. I should have checked that. All right. I think the only thing to do is to pop out this outer rail, slide this in there, see if it's okay, and then put the outer rail back in. All right, stay tuned. Yeah, so if I look at it closely, I think you guys can see that both the outer and the inner rail are off. And they're off by a good amount, at least a couple of millimeters, 1/16 of an inch, which is enough to make it wonky. So that one's really bad. Yeah, this one's off in the opposite direction. This one's a little bit off. That one's definitely off. Yeah, unfortunately, this one is right on. And it's funny because I have the two lines there, which I should have done on all of them. That one's good. That one's good. And this is the one that starts the off. Yeah, this one is the first one that's off. Damn. All right, so I think the only thing to do is figure out whether it's the top or the bottom, and I believe it's the top. I'm calling this the top. That's off, and I'm going to need to move it. Shit. I was hoping to get that puppy running. Looks like I'm going to have to get that guy up and running. I have it, it's glued right now. Damn. There's got to be another way other than to pop those off, because they're not going to pop off easy. I C8 glued them, and then after they were dry, I took ultra thin C8 glue and went around each of the edges to make sure they were in place. What I could do is shim right here and right here, which might cause it. All right, let me think about this. Stay tuned. Yeah, so even if I shimmed it, or even if I clamped it down, it's not going to fix it, because, yeah, it's just not going to. I'm going to have to take this guy off. All right. Yeah, so I can't shim it. So there's really nothing I can do because it's so far off. So let me take it off, and let me take the outer one off and see what that looks like. Stay tuned. So I took the outer and inner off. As you can see, it stands straight up and down now. So yeah, I'm going to have to re-glue these, and I'll re-glue them. What I should have used was this. This is what I should have used, because this would have ensured that the upper and lower are parallel, instead of lazily just using one of these. I should have used my template. There was a reason why I made this. Dang nabbit. Anyway, it can be fixed. All right, I got a little bit of work ahead. The next time I start recording, these guys should be all fixed. Stay tuned. Okay, so I was thinking, because I have to do this to several of these, and yeah, and I'm using the jig this time to line them up, which is what I should have done in the first place. What I might also do is reprint these guys to make them a little bit thicker to accommodate the smaller N52 magnet. I can increase the size by, I can double the size of that, or just increase it by a couple of millimeters. Actually, what I should do, now that I'm thinking about it, I should increase the size to the point where the center magnet sits flush. Yeah, yep, that's what I should do, because then that'll ensure that all the magnets are flush. By increasing the size this way and this way, or it doesn't really matter, by increasing the size, yeah, then they'll all sit flush. It'll cover up more of the magnet, but I don't really care about that. The magnetism will go through the plastic just fine. So what I should do is print out a couple of test pieces and see how that fits. And with my new profiles from Chuckles, I can print now a quarter time faster. Something that would take 2 hours, I can now print in 15 minutes, which is freaking awesome. So if any of you guys have 3D printers and you're tired of waiting, hit me up and I will send you the profiles, or send you to the link on how to get the Filament Friday fast profile. The guy that runs the Chep channel has developed them in conjunction with someone else, I think, and is freely giving them out, which is freaking awesome. That's why I support his channel financially, because him and this other guy, Modbot, do some great stuff in the 3D printing community. Without them, I don't think I would have even started with 3D printing, because they made it really easy to learn and to get into it. So let me go print out a couple of these a little bit bigger, and I'll actually do it. I'll take a measurement of the smaller magnet and increase it by that width. All right, stay tuned, guys. So really quick, this is why I'm so excited about the new profile, that even though it goes literally more than twice as fast, it doesn't reduce the quality. So printing 2 of these at half the height, these are 10 millimeters, so printing 2 of these at 5 millimeters each took 30 minutes. Printing 2 of these at 10 millimeters each with the new profile that Chet put out, 23 minutes. So that's crazy. And the quality is beautiful. I can't believe it. So let me get, I got to find all of my magnet parts. They're all over the place, but let me get it together and slide it in here. I also finished this guy with the N52 barrel magnets. It's just kind of a cool little rotor I'm gonna set up. Let me put him over there. All right, so let me get this guy together and see how it looks. Stay tuned. All right, so it came out pretty good. I should actually make it bigger, because my calculations weren't right. It didn't cover the center magnet as well as I thought it would. I thought I measured it. I think I know what I did wrong. I split it in half when I shouldn't have. Anyway, yeah, so I still have to figure out how I'm going to fix this. I pulled one of them apart and fixed it. All right, yeah, let me get going on that. I'm printing out some other ones. I don't even know if I'm going to do that, because it doesn't seem to make that much of a difference. Let me figure this out. Stay tuned. Excuse me. All right, so I've got all of the new N52 magnets in the center. So I have north, south, north, all the way around. I fixed some of them I didn't. I'm just going to go for it. I know, but tearing out, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the clamping method, I think. See, like this one's kind of janky. That was not too bad. Actually, no, I'm not going to do the clamping method. I'm going to work it the best I can. I'm going to put a dab of hot glue on each of these corners here to stop it from moving and get this puppy mounted. Stay tuned. And while I'm waiting for the glue gun to heat up, I'm mounting the coil caps or the coil ends using acrylic number 16, which is great stuff, especially for 3D prints. So I'm going to put one on each side, so there'll be 2 coils to the Newman motor. And then I also got some special acrylic resin that I'm going to seal the outside inside with, and then I'll paint it. Maybe. I probably won't even paint it because I won't really need to, because this is going to be covered with wire. All right, stay tuned. You know, as great as hot glue is, I hate dealing with it because of the spider web effect. You know, when if you touch a piece of hot glue by mistake when it's still hot and you pull your hand away, and then you get those wispy strings all over the place. Or if you don't, when you're actually doing it, if you don't do it correctly, if you don't like snip it off, if you will, you get those wispy strings everywhere. If anybody knows how to not get that, please let me know. Oh yeah, and if I'm not doing enough, I'm also, if you guys remember a while ago, I said I wanted to revisit the solenoid motor, the one that I made with my friend down under. It took us like a year, no, not a year, but a long time, through tons of different designs and different iterations, and we would move on with some things and then scrap others, and it was a great joint venture. But I wasn't satisfied with the amount of wire that I put on those 3 coils. So I'm printing out some new coils, and hopefully, excuse me, I can get my new coil winder up and running. It's around here somewhere. But yeah, I want to definitely get that guy up and running. So in conjunction with making new coils for this guy, I'm going to also see if I can get that coil winder up and running. It came without any type of diagrams. It came with instructions, but they're all written instructions. There's no diagrams. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So right now I'm preparing the carbon fiber rod, which will go through the bearings in here and get mounted in this puppy right here. So let me get going over here. All right, so it's gonna look pretty cool. This one really floats because I made sure that I sanded down the carbon fiber rod so that it really floats in the magnets. I mean, it floats in the bearings. And it's weird because I put 2 bearings in there, and the rod is going through 2 other bearings. I didn't need to put the bearings in here. Because see, look it, yeah, it's kind of weird, but I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit more because it's too high. But it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I'm excited to see what it's gonna do. Yeah, see, look at that's really weird. I should have not done that, but I think I did that so that I could mount this in a stationary thing. Here, hold on, let me show you. See if let me See, it spins and the rod stays still because it's on its own bearings. And so I kind of like that. Anyway, let me get things settled up here. Well, guys, I mean, it's definitely putting out some power, but as I feared, the magnets are simply not strong enough. Yeah, that's about the speed that it gets going. And it doesn't matter what coil I use or how I arrange it. It's just a very weak rotor. In fact, yeah, it's a dud. Thank goodness I didn't put too much work into it. Hopefully the Newman motor will come out much better. You can't win them all. Yeah, so that's about the speed it gets going, even if I turn it up. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything more than, oops. I don't want to burn out the circuit. Yeah, that's about the speed with this particular coil that it settles at. Here, let me show you a couple other coils. Hold tight. So here's a bifilar coil. I only have one of the sides hooked up. And again, it's just, there's just no oomph. And I don't think it has anything to do with the superpole position of the magnets. Maybe it does. I don't know. But you can hear it winding on. Let me try another coil. So here's Sky's pancake coil. Doesn't work too bad with that one. Again, the circuit's working great. It's just that the rotor is yeah. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. And the rotor's not out of balance or anything like that. It's not dragging on anything. We've got 4 bearings in there. So it has to be, oops, let me turn off the circuit. I'm pretty sure it's the strength of the magnets. I've got the N52s in there in the center, but these outer ones aren't very strong. They're probably in the 20 to 30 range, unlike when I get my magnets from, I think it's K&J. The minimum I'll get is an N45. Let me try this other rotor in here, that little quick one that I made, just to see what it's like. Stay tuned. So I have to rig up a different circuit for this guy because it floats really nice. These magnets are definitely not powerful enough to trigger excuse me, the JL94 circuit. So I either need to use a Bedini circuit or better yet, use a Hall sensor. So let me get my Hall circuit set up and we'll take a look at this guy. Stay tuned. So my Hall sensor motor works really good, or circuit. You can hear it speeding up. I have to use this more often. Problem is that, oh, actually it's not too bad. The chip often, or the Hall sensor chip often gets really hot. But I think it all depends on how you put it. I was listening to somebody, I forgot what they said. But anyway, oops. This seems to be the sweet spot right here. Yeah, the chip's not getting too hot. Let me see how the... Yeah, it's getting warm. I got to put a heat sink on the transistor. Yeah, that seems to be the sweet spot right there. Yeah, it's really speeding up now. All right, so at least we got, yeah, I definitely have to put a heat sink on this guy. I forgot who was it. I think it was the guy, uh, Toffee, Toffee something. I'll have to look it up. He kind of told me what, why the circuit, why the transistor on the Hall circuit gets hot. But anyway, we have one successful motor this weekend. Ay, 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 ay. Anyway, I'm gluing that guy up. So I know that the Newman motor is going to be good because this motor, where is it? That piece of junk. Oh, yeah, that thing. That thing was a failure for several reasons. One, it wasn't my main focus. I put effort into it, but it wasn't the main focus. I had started off last week or the week before working on the Newman motor, and I wanted to do something in the meantime. Oops, let me turn this guy off so it doesn't overheat. Yeah, I got to put a heat sink on that guy. I'll find a heat sink somewhere. I think I've got a couple of old circuits. Anyway, yeah, it wasn't my main focus. So, in trying to do too many things at the same time, that turned out to be a piece of shit failure. Pardon my French. Actually, that was English. Piece of crap failure. Yeah, not sure if it was just terrible magnets, not very good design. Maybe I should have put them facing outwards instead of concave. They should have been, I forget what that's called. G-Law will help me out with that. Or actually, Magnus Attractus. Yeah, so it didn't, yeah, it's kind of disappointing too. Because there was some good design stuff on the CAD program. It wasn't meant to be. I got to put old Faith, that big beast, back in there and do some experimenting with it. But at least we got one going. Hall sensor never lets me down. I tried the Bedini circuit. It didn't work, but I'm not really sure if I had hooked it up correctly. Anyway, yeah, I've been wanting to try this Hall circuit for a while. This is a Sky Collection production, this circuit. It's freaking beautiful. This guy makes great circuits, but I do have to put a heatsink on that. All right, guys, let me get back to working on the Newman motor. I got to put the, I've got these glued on, and I have to glue the other two on the other coil and get it going, all right? So thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Oh, and really quick, let's add something more to the pile. So I've been watching Faraday Research, and he's been doing some stuff with batteries, and it's really interesting. And myself, I really like super caps. I also love batteries, but I like these super powerful capacitors, like these guys right here. All right, this is 500 farads, not microfarads, but farads. 500 each, and I've got 6 of them here. I also have another bank somewhere. I don't know where it is. The same, oh, here it is. So these guys are really powerful. This was the first one I put together. And again, each one of these super caps are 500 farads, which is a monster. Yeah, I got to take this. I got to take these guys apart. Is a monster. Anyway, yeah, it's a monster shocker, is what it is. If you mess around, but I think I want to get back into playing with these super caps, maybe in conjunction with some of those earth batteries that he's making. I'd really like to replicate that or something, because those are really cool. Anyway, just wanted to add that. Ciao.